Hello and welcome to the Flicks Forum podcast with Jesse, Heater and MJ. In this week's episode, we're looking at Netflix's 29th film, the 2017 comedy drama crime film Deidra and Laney Rob A Train. It's directed by Sydney Freeland, it stars Ashleigh Murray, Rachel Crowe, Tim Blake, Nelson, David Sullivan, Danielle Nicolet and Sasheer Zamata.
You did that last time.
I did.
Tim Blake Nelson.
Tim Blake, pause, Nelson.
Because I didn't update my notes again and I wrote time. Oh, man.
I really hope there's people listening back to back who have literally heard this within a minute of each other.
So you need to double check our show notes on our actual episode to make sure that I update the spelling for Time Blake Nelson.
That's a good point.
Welcome. Good to be together.
Always.
Yeah, g'day, boys.
So we always kick off our episodes with our Fast Flicks, where we go around and do a quick summary of the film. Heater, hit us off.
Thanks, mates. All right, so in order to support their family and raise the bail money for their recently incarcerated mother, two sisters become train robbers whilst being pursued by a determined railroad detective.
Saying that out loud sounds weird.
It does.
if you
Interesting concept.
If you pitched that to me as a plot the way you just did there, I'd be like, no.
I've got some interesting points about that as a plot from the writer, so I'm glad you brought that up.
MJ.
A quirky, fun yet serious story about schoolgirl sisters doing it tough on the home front. Seeming like the easy way out, the girls turn to crime in order to avoid any more turmoil being inflicted on their family. Small town, heist-like crime, dysfunctional family. It's Logan Lucky without the cast.
I said sisters needing to do it for themselves. I just started singing. I was like, sisters needing to do it for themselves decide they must rob a train to help with financial woes.
That's exactly what the film's about.
Short and sharp.
I specifically didn't want to say rob or train in my thing.
Yeah. It was hard not to.
I said both.
I do like your IMDB synopsis, Heater.
I think they're pretty good.
I think they are too.
All right, let's talk about anything that we've learnt about this film, any history, development in the
I
stages.
think we all
or anything
learned how
like
to spell Deidra pretty
yeah.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
E before the I, is that right?
Yeah.
E before the I.
Which breaks that rule, but sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. True. Okay, Heater. You've always got something for us. Come on.
All right, this is another one from the Sundance Film Festival, premiered at the January 2017 one, just like our previous two movies, I believe.
But this premiered the day before Burning Sands, our last film. So yeah. And again in the credits, this was supported by the Sundance Institute feature film program again. So yeah, this one was hard to find stuff about.
Yeah, I didn't find too much. It was filmed in Utah.
Yes, it's filmed in Utah.
That's a fun fact for you.
The Rachel Crowe was one of the actresses in the film.
Laney.
Yes. So Laney got her start on X Factor in the USA.
No way.
Yeah, so she was on X Factor when she was 13 in the UK.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and so she sang a song in the film that was playing throughout towards the end of the film.
Right?
Yeah, so
that's
that was
a good one.
So that was about all.
X Factor's just singing, isn't it? It's not like Got Talent.
Just singing, yeah. So it was like groups over 25s, under 25s or whatever.
Okay,
so, yeah,
good on you,
cool.
Rachel Crowe.
Yeah.
So how old was she in this then? Because
that's a good question. I'm not sure, but she was 13 when she was on X Factor, so she was pretty young on there. And I have a feeling she was in Simon Cowell's team from memory.
okay.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
No. Just based on what I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also would be the kind of thing that you would see.
Yeah,
I
true.
could imagine you one day just watching USA X Factor about 6 years ago or something.
When it first started, probably, yeah.
Her date of birth isn't on IMDb.
Yeah, that's what I was.
So the director was nominated at the Sundance Awards for Best Next Audience Award.
Yeah.
For this film, which is about all I could find.
It was her second feature film.
Yes.
I believe we've got my notes. So she'd done two shorts and then another film called Drunk Town's Finest. And she'd done a bit of TV as well.
Yeah.
And I think since this movie, she's only done a bit more TV. But yeah, this was her second feature film.
Grey's Anatomy, possibly.
Yeah, there was an episode of Grey's. I saw that.
It seemed like there was quite a few shows where she did one or two episodes kind of on a number of different shows.
Having a look at that Drunk Town's Finest, I think I'm going to add that to my list to watch as well. It looked interesting. Quite sort of interesting.
It had like a 6 or 7 out of 10 on IMDb as well.
Good, yeah. Definitely keen to check that one out.
There you go.
The writer Shelby Farrell. I think.
Pharrell,
Say it, Pharrell. So she'd also written a couple of short. Oh, so she'd written one short story before this, and has written a couple of shorts after this. But this was her one and only feature film writing credit.
Good segue. So she wrote this project whilst she was still at film school as part of her thesis program.
Oh, wow.
Here we go.
And might sound like a silly concept, but she grew up in Memphis, Tennessee, which is a huge train town apparently. She knew a lot of people who worked in shipping. She had 3 sisters herself, and basically from time to time she thought how easy it would be to rob a train, and if she did it, she reckons her sisters would have helped her. So
Nice little story behind it.
when she got management and had the script and tried to get the script out there, Sydney Freeland also grew up next to train tracks in New Mexico, and she was reading the script thinking how incredibly relatable these characters and this idea was.
Wow.
So it's funny you being like, what a crazy concept. These two minds came together because they're just like,
These two
what an obvious thing to do.
criminal masterminds that thought about robbing trains as youngsters.
Critical consensus is pretty positive.
Not bad.
It was good.
91% on
Believe
23
it.
reviews
91
on Rotten Tomatoes. 91.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's huge. The audience was only 57,
Yeah.
but it's only on 232 ratings. So
91%.
91% on Rotten
Good on it.
Tomatoes.
This was a good movie though.
Yeah, and IMDb 6.1 out of 10 on a bit over 1,300.
100, yeah. And Letterboxd was 3.1 out of 5 on 960 reviews.
So it's the same kind of rating as
Yeah, kind of like a
IMDb.
6 out of 10 kind of thing.
You take that for,
Yeah, it's a good score for it.
second
Yeah,
time
very-
director,
Yeah,
pretty fresh writer.
would have thought they'd be pretty happy with that.
cast. Yeah. It was a good movie.
All right. Do you want to talk about characters?
Are you going to talk about a product placement? Because there was a comical one in there.
There was a very comical
that
one
I
and
saw straight away and thought about you.
Yeah, so I think you're talking about the scene where they break into one of the carriages and they open up on the electronics, and there's
amazing.
instead of a big Apple logo, there's a big pear logo.
It's a pear.
That's not product placement.
No, it's not.
What are you
So
talking about? That's one of my favourite scenes. I thought it was hilarious.
You even got the pear phone on you?
I thought that was very well done.
That was so
It was
good.
funny.
Yeah, that was very clever. Characters. Give us some thoughts. What do we think?
Deidra. All right,
Deidra.
let's
Yep,
go with
right,
Deidra
Deidra.
and Laney first, hey? I like the fact that Deidra obviously was the main character of the film, the one that you basically following from start to finish, and she was really, really flawed. And it probably takes you halfway through the movie to find out how flawed she is, because she's super smart. She's able to have that foresight on why they need to do things, when they need to do things by. But she was selfish. She lacked any subtlety. She never picked up on subtleties from other characters, and was painfully stubborn. And I like the fact that this character was so flawed. They did a really good job at making her pretty real.
Yeah, I was sort of the same. Like I couldn't have Deidra and Laney together because I thought the struggle for both of them was real. Like you could tell the struggle for both of them. So
And really different.
yeah, and so Deidra wanted to get to college. Well, she had to be the adult of the house almost, and then Laney wanted to be accepted and noticed. So they both had this struggle that they're both trying to overcome, and they both had these role models at school as well, like the teachers that were there to sort of as benchmarks to keep them going. So I liked.
So how does that feel? You've got Deidra, who's got these basically adult concerns, and Laney, like throughout the film, they just keep harping on about the fact that she's a kid. Like she's still a kid. All of her issues are kid issues, and that's completely cool. Like she still loves her dad. She still loves her mum, despite everything that's happened. Not that she shouldn't love them, but look at the way that Deidra, she calls her dad by his first name. When they go visit the mum in jail, Deidra basically doesn't even make eyes with her. And I just like the fact that you're sitting there going, this is a normal family with normal kid problems, and that was really, really nice job.
Yeah.
Also, Deidra had my favourite quote of the film. It also really showed how worldly she actually was. She's a really smart girl. When she said, for thousands of years, no one asked, what do you want to be? You just be.
Yeah.
What a great answer to a question. It's like, what do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you see yourself? And she's just like, well, hang on, what did cavemen do? They just existed.
Yeah, they just did what they did.
And that's exactly what she's doing, right? And this is before she really focuses on that college dream and getting out of there. She's like, well, I got to do what I got to do to get by today, tomorrow. She was a good character.
I thought that Ashleigh Murray did a great job with her. She was a really good acting performance.
She was good.
From her.
I don't have the same to say about Rachel Crowe, unfortunately.
No.
But
Yeah, I didn't think she was great.
I don't think she was very good.
No. Yeah, Deidre's acting was, but for Ashleigh Murray's was really good. I thought, Rachel Crowe's lacked a bit.
You couldn't have them both playing great sort of roles though, because like you needed that difference between the two of them as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a tricky one.
Yeah.
I really liked the dad.
He was my favourite character.
He was
yeah.
an absolute champion.
Loved him.
And I thought he developed enough throughout to understand that, that he actually cared about the kids, even though he's a bit of a bum, hasn't been there throughout their lives.
He had no clue how to be a dad, but he cared.
Yeah,
I think the reason that we all like him, all of his misdemeanors and all the reasons that he was a deadbeat dad happened before we meet him, right? As soon as he's on screen, you have no reason to believe this guy isn't a good dad, doesn't care about his kids, isn't going to do everything for them. And that was kind of clever. Like, he kept saying, I'm there when you need me, I'm gone when you don't. He's this guy that is obviously not very good at doing what he does, but then when you're actually watching him, you're like, nah, this guy's pretty good. And not to mention he was a genuinely funny character.
Yeah.
Made me laugh time and time again.
It was funny, yeah.
And I also think that was important to keep that fun vibe. That first 15 minutes, they set that up really well. It was going to be fun, quirky, and then it kind of went away, and it was the dad that kept it
going
in that really fun vibe, or else it gets a bit too serious and a bit too much.
I was always wanting dad on screen.
Yeah.
Always wanted him on there.
I was a little bit confused with the mum.
Oh, I didn't like
Big
it.
time.
So
that reveal was too late, I reckon.
I liked the reveal, but totally agree. Too late. So the scene where she was like losing it and smashing the TV, and then you're in jail for terrorism or whatever it was that they said she was in there for. And then the first few outbursts of her at the kids when they're visiting her, I was like, oh.
You hate her.
Yeah.
Mate, she's just a bad person.
Yeah, and it just, it didn't sit right because you seemed like, and she seemed to know very little about Laney in particular, and that sort of did my head in a little bit as well, to sort of then when you do get that change to see like everything that she was doing for these kids prior to her having that meltdown. Yeah, I felt like...
When you've already kind of got it in your head that she's a bad mum, the way like she's treated it, like, anyway, say like she doesn't know much about these kids, it seems. Like they've kind of already put that in your head.
The leap of faith was too much, wasn't it?
Yeah. The, I hated the robot detective.
He was awesome.
I hated him. He was just cringy, I thought, and I didn't like him, his character at all.
Hang on, you didn't like him
So you're not supposed to like him. Obviously, he's the villain, but he just rubbed me the wrong way. Like I didn't even not like him as appreciating as the villain. I just hated him.
I love the way he dressed.
I think they had to ham him up to make it believable that there's actually railway cops.
Yeah, I mean,
that people take that job that seriously.
I like that kind of thing where like how he was so serious about his job, but just like I think he's just. I can't even describe it. Just hated the guy. Absolutely hated him.
The bum bag. I think sometimes he had sort of like sandals with socks on. Awesome. It was so funny.
But then I guess also the way like he's manhandling the girls at the end as well. It's like, mate, nah.
Needed that based on the research.
I was going to say, at least they gave backstory as to why he would do that.
Why he was,
And that was actually the girl's whole plan, wasn't it?
Yeah, to get him caught out.
To trap him,
Yeah.
I didn't really like Laney's friend Claire either.
What the hell?
That was just a really weird character.
It's the one that turns on her?
Unbelievably turns on her.
Oh my God. What even was that?
Just because she got picked to be in this pageant that she was
that
in.
Was just like
was a massive
180 bang.
Yeah, that was again, probably there's those two massive leaps of faith you need to take. But she goes from being, obviously when you first meet Claire, Laney's in a really tough spot. Her mum's just gone to jail. Things are. There's nothing good about her life. So you meet this friend, and I was like, oh, that's nice that she's got this friend who's going to stick up for her. And then just like the click of a finger, not only does she stop liking her, she turns like
hates her with
I've hated you for 10 years kind of thing.
Your mum's in jail, blah, blah, blah. She was bad.
That was bad. Mrs. Spencer, Miss Spencer, way over the top. Just didn't like her at all as well.
I like
you disagree, Jesse? You shaking your head at me?
Not shaking my head, but I can see the sort of role that she plays for the characters, and I think that you needed that sort of to break it up a bit, because rather than her going in and saying, for starters, I was a bit confused with that character to start with. I thought she was the principal to start off with.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, and then it sort of gets revealed that she's the counsellor. Yeah. But I feel like if you had a sort of a counsellor who wasn't as energetic and up and about as that, it would have changed the whole flow of Deidra's character a little bit.
I could have really done with someone who wasn't that up and about.
The best part about her is that she made these decisions as a human, not a teacher. And I think the relatability in that is everyone wants to know people like that exist in their school, that there is someone they can turn to who, yes, if you're doing the wrong thing legally, if you're doing the wrong thing by the school, they can see where you're coming from. And I think at the end they set her up as like a symbol of change in the whole town. You know, the fact that she wanted out, she was smart, she was worldly enough, and she decided to stay and turn things around. I thought she was a great character.
Yeah. Any other characters?
Not worth mentioning for me. No.
Just goes to show how probably engaging these characters were, that we just reeled off 7 or 8 characters just then and there. It's definitely the one thing that really kept me engaged was how good the characters were.
So you both mentioned Laney. Because obviously, who else could you cast as Laney then if you're not a fan of her?
I don't think you cast
anyone half decent.
Yeah, it's got to be something. You can't have someone. Yeah, it's a.
It kind of takes away from it if you picked like a big Nickelodeon star or something.
Yeah,
you'd feel like
you've got to have that Deidra is the main character and the main star. You can't have someone that's bigger than her playing that supporting role.
Yeah.
So I mean, not really sure. You can just give someone else a try, really. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
She must have tested well, so
must have. Yeah.
Or maybe they wanted the X Factor. People
fans.
knew her.
Yeah. Maybe that was a good way to get.
It actually makes a lot more
fans.
sense now.
Yeah.
Scenes. We move on to the scenes. I think
go from the start.
Yes, go for all right, MJ. Go for it.
That title sequence with the use of United States of whatever.
Yep.
Awesome. It set up the film perfectly. This is going to be a fun ride, and I think it strays away from that a little bit. But within the first opening credit scene, even with the titles, the way they popped up on each character, really good, really fun.
Yeah. Peter?
No, you keep going because my ones aren't at the start.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I just wanted to start with. It doesn't have to be.
MJ, Rick,
from
you
there.
keep reeling.
I mean, we talked about it before the montage of finding out how the mum kind of what drove her over the top to go crazy. I really liked that scene. It was way too late in the movie, but I really enjoyed that kind of whole thing of seeing exactly how it all panned out for her, and this is what sent her to that. Absolutely, yeah.
I like that scene how you've got, her coming home with the groceries and the kids just ignoring her, and then I really liked when she just dropped on that couch and the seatbelt sort of came in over, and then she's in the car and shows the crash and just continues to show
That's the other thing we don't know about until that point in time.
That's why
I really like. I think it was a couple of times she'd come in and the girls would just take something off her or just leave straight away, and it happens again, and the other sister goes, and that was really good.
It's relatable too. I think that's what stands out about this family. Very relatable family dynamic, despite the fact that the circumstances aren't necessarily relatable.
I mean, Chet was my favourite character, so basically loved most scenes involving Chet. I really like the negotiations scene with Deidra and Chet and the guys they're selling the stolen goods to in like a
burger joint
or something, when they're sitting down and he kind of takes over and about what percentage, and I'll get you the electronic goods. I like that scene.
Yep.
The whole process of the girls planning the robbery was actually done really well too. Often in like I guess we won't quite call it a heist film. I know it's a touchy subject.
It's more a robbery film.
Thanks.
More not really a heist because they're just gone over and over the same train. But more a robbery film. The crime genre was good.
in like a heist or a robbery film, you can often get lost in the details, and then they start doing it, and you're like, okay, what's happening now? What's happening here? They explained it really well. You knew exactly how they were going to do it, why they were going to do it, the process, even to the point where they had the teddy bear there. You knew when they were going to get in trouble.
Liked how they were recording with their phones. So they could go back, check it. The teddy bear was a really nice touch too.
They planned it out well.
I liked the use of the calendars and charts throughout as well on Deidre's wall. So, the calendar had like the dates for, school dates, so mum's trial date, when the bills are due once she starts taking on this role when mum's in jail, the rules that they need to follow for the robbery, the money they make.
Didn't bode well though if they got broken into and checked. I kept thinking that it's pretty clear that you guys are robbing a train.
I thought that was a nice visual way to progress the story.
We got also like when the dad comes around and he's like, why all the boxes just out? Like, man, you got to burn these boxes. It's all the evidence is just sitting right there.
There was a really nice scene where Deidra goes to the mailbox to get the mail, and there's the cameras. There's the 2 mailboxes, and then all these words start coming out, cancelled and overdue and final payment.
That was cool.
I thought that was a really nice sort of scene, just to show the overwhelming sense of everything's coming to hit her. I thought that was cool.
This kid who's just become a mum straight away, sort of thing.
I really liked the paper little cutout of the wrestler that the dad was making too. And like there was one scene where it was just left near the letterbox, and like Jet goes to runs and gets it, and he just has this smile on his face, sort of saying, "Dad still cares about me." I like that too.
I liked at the actual teen pageant when Laney steals her friend's line. just
Mary Tyler Moore, was that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, just a good way of just her kind of standing up and getting back at her for being
Horrible.
a cow to her, really.
Yeah.
Another great line from there, though. You think your life is hard, you have no effing clue.
Yeah.
No swear words in this entire film, but the weight of that was perfect. Because, like, this is happening where there's someone there to arrest her. This girl is the lowest of lows, and I felt that. I thought it was really, really good work.
Good pickup. I liked the scene with child protection rocking up, and then the dad's just there. He's like, "Oh, hey, I'm the uncle," and I just thought that was well done. It was nice to see that. Yeah, I thought that was cool. And
even at the end when she's kind of like all upset, like, "Why did you get?"
I thought you were the one. I had one laugh. The train cop
One's good.
Yeah, that was a good laugh too. The train cop's like going around the school taking all these photos, and there's like this couple just like kissing out in the car park, and he takes the photo and he like walks past and he was like STDs and keeps walking. I thought that was great. I thought that was really funny.
If you didn't laugh at the very start when Chet was talking about how he's on TV.
Yeah, that was
just show wondering. And then
he's just in the background.
The next time he sees the train cop, he's just like, "Hey, remember me? We were on that TV together." Although I think I almost laughed the most when they were hooking up in jail when he went and visited her. I thought that was really funny.
I hated that.
Oh, God.
That was crap.
Are we moving into forgettable scenes? Because I've got that in there too.
Yeah,
I think if you like that character, I think it was really good. And I thought you liked it.
I like Chet, but I hated the mum.
Yeah.
So I hated that, and also
I thought it was just really funny the way he.
The line of dialogue was, "If that table wasn't there, I would put another baby in you."
Yep.
How is that?
That was so Chet. Chet.
I really like Chet, but no, I didn't like that scene at all.
I think at the point I was all in, and I was like,
I wasn't all in. You were, so I didn't like that.
Any other scenes that stood out, or do you want to go into?
I got one more.
Good,
when to the point where Deidra was really stubborn and didn't pick up on the subtleties of others' behaviour when she was talking to her ex-boyfriend who was selling all the goods for her. I loved it when he said to her, "Go to college, have a life." Basically, just he had that mature foresight that I guess you didn't expect him to have, and that was when it really opened up the process of not everyone is as they seem, and that's when they reveal the thing about the mum. That's when you start to realise that Deidre's been ignoring all of Laney's issues as well. All these things are happening around her, and she thinks that she's kingpin and everyone should be worried about her problems. She starts to realise that everyone else has got their own, and just because it's not obvious, it's still very important. And I think no one expected that character, who was just a nothing character, to be that open and honest about it, which I loved.
I had that in my scenes I didn't like.
No.
Yeah.
Why?
So I checked the time. It was about an hour in, and I just felt the mood or the mood of the scene to me was like I was thinking that they were going to sort of turn this into like a little bit of a romance between the two. That was just me watching it. That was the feeling I was getting. I was like, oh, we've done really well. We don't need this sort of like this, I don't know. I just felt like there was going to be some sort of romantic connection.
But there wasn't.
No, there wasn't. But that was just how I felt with that scene. Okay. So that's why that scene didn't hit with me like it did.
It opened up a door because I was thinking this all along. Like, Deidra, you got to start thinking about other people, and then he opened up that door for her.
Yeah,
which,
that's good.
But yeah,
all right. Heater. What didn't you like?
The opening scene with the mum and the TV. Threatening the TV. It was just crap for me. I just didn't like it. She's, waving this TV around, all the crowd, the cop reel wasn't doing anything. I just thought it was bad, and kind of I wasn't a big fan of this movie, and I think part of it was that because I thought that opening scene was bad, and that set it going from there. I went, okay, cool, not a good start for me.
You go, keep going.
Oh, why was she labelled a domestic terrorist?
I don't know.
I need, I think they said that, and that's why I think her bail was so high. Yeah. But I need to know how that classed her as a domestic terrorist. It didn't make any sense to me.
Maybe it's just having a whack on the system and how they'll try and lock people away for anything.
Possibly.
Try and justify.
True, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And probably goes in. Goes in with that scene towards the end where the rail cop saying to Deidra, like, it doesn't matter what happens here because your mum's in jail. It's no one's going to blink an eyelid if you're in jail as well, sort of thing. So,
Which, I mean, I was fine with them being in jail. It was just that kind of that label of domestic terrorist was just kind of really out there, I thought.
Yeah.
The first teen Miss Idaho scene in the classroom was really weird. I thought the acting was really bad from everybody involved.
Yeah.
At that point, there was no context as to what they were doing and why they were sitting in the classroom. And up until that point, there was that really fun vibe that I spoke about, and it just completely lost it. And I think to that point, the recurrence of the Miss Teen Idaho stuff just felt like a forced subplot. And I know they needed something for Laney to hang her hat on, but that subplot in general didn't work for me at all.
That first classroom scene, I think, was the worst scene in the film. I thought it was awful.
Like,
I wanted to stop.
They had on the wall, on the chalkboard behind or whatever it was, like what they were doing. And I kind of liked that because it sort of gave that relational thing for their mother to say, hey, the winnings that I took from that, I put in the bank account for your college as well. So I guess they tried to tie it in a little bit.
I could see it.
I didn't mind
I
didn't mind the kind of the overall storyline because I guess it gives that thing how Laney is constantly trying to ask her sister for help and her sister's not having a bar because she thinks she's got more important things. Where talking before, Laney's just got these general high school problems. But just that one classroom scene just really was cringeworthy, I thought.
It was pretty bad, yeah.
You mentioned this before, but I didn't. That post-credit scene with the counsellor speaking in front of the school, and I know that you've said she's the one that's going to stick around and make the change. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I liked the over-the-topness throughout the film, but that over-the-topness at the end, I was like, oh, didn't really like it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It fit with the theme of the film, I think.
Yeah,
because that was a pretty crummy kind of town. The fact that nobody goes to college at all. It's nice to know that Laney is kind of in safe-ish hands.
And I had that in sort of the themes where that embarrassment of being a part of a small town because the cop, the train cop, the teacher, they all want to get out of there. There's no
everything about it, the houses, the neighbourhood, it's
how close they live to the train tracks. It's very
not desirable.
I didn't like when it kind of the start of the movie when Laney gets knocked over in the kind of hallway and all the kids just stand around and laugh and that's just not great. But at the time I was thinking, where are her friends? Where is her friend to come and pick her up and tell these people to piss off? And then you kind of get on and both sisters don't really have friends, and except for I guess that one girl. And so then it got me wondering, why don't these girls have friends?
It was. I was thinking as if kids are this cruel. They're actually walking over her.
Yeah, they walk over her.
It was shot
surely
really
someone
well.
goes.
It was shot.
It was shot well. I just didn't like the context. So someone go and pick her up. Someone help her up. You surely can't all be assholes at this school.
I'm all right with that as a scene because it laid a lot of brickwork for
Stuff like
everything else
that
going
happens
on.
at schools. It's not out of the ordinary.
But why don't they have friends? Why don't the two sisters have any friends?
Well, Deidra doesn't go to school.
Yeah. How many absent days did she have this film? Kept saying, where is she? Where is she? Yeah. All right. Move on. Ready to look at some themes?
There's one more that bothered me.
Yeah, hit us up.
Yeah, it didn't bother me that much, but when Laney robs those shoes and she walks down the hallway in the nice high heels.
Yeah. And she's waving to the
blowing
boys
kisses and waving and
winking
winking at them. But the main thing for me is how often do guys notice that a girl's got a new pair of shoes on? A lot of people.
She was pretty dressed up.
She was done up, but they made a point that guys were looking at her shoes.
Yeah.
Well, if someone walked that slow down the corridor, I probably would notice too.
I just remember thinking, I don't think I've ever noticed a girl's shoes, to be honest. But you do you, Laney.
Yeah, man. All right. What was the movie saying? Give us some ideas about what it was saying. There's a fair bit.
What about family?
Yes,
Supporting
definitely.
your family.
Yes.
Roles of parents in that as well.
Yeah.
Or role models in general.
Yeah, so there was very their sisters doing stuff together, sort of a little bit of girl power, and at the start, Deidra refused to go to the dad to help, and she's like,
She hated him.
yeah, she's like, I don't want to.
Ex-boyfriend's like, you have a dad.
Dad, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was pretty obvious, I think. The sort of we spoke about it before too. The middle America sort of poverty, the financial worries of all these people that are sort of living in this area, because obviously it's not just them that face that. You've got all the people that are working at the diner that are trying to make a little bit of extra cash. Life's hard in these marginalised.
War's not for
areas.
us, Jesse.
'Cause.
'Cause. No,
Good.
baby, I don't think it is.
There was a lot about genetics and DNA too. A lot of little lines in there throughout about you're from a lineage of screw ups, and there's more to it than DNA. You don't just have to follow in your footsteps. And I think that they tried to do that through Deidra. She's the first one to go to college. In that family, and the mum makes a nice comment about that at the end.
Yeah.
So I thought that was...
Yeah, because then you've also got the opposite side where that railroad copy's telling her, your parents are this, so you're going to be this trash.
Have you guys seen Logan Lucky? It came out like last year.
Nah.
It's very similar in so many aspects, and especially with that, because the whole thing is about the Logan family being like the most unluckiest family, and like nothing's ever going to go right for them. So and it was small town, dysfunctional family. They try and steal money. Like this was Logan Lucky light. But check it out, huge cast, obviously.
The part about being who you want to be too. Deidra, like we spoke about before, that question, where she's like, why do I have to know who I'm going to be, sort of thing. So I thought that was throughout the whole time too.
That's also the whole people aren't always as they seem.
Yeah.
And make sure you take the time to understand, because the whole time she doesn't listen to Laney at all.
No.
And it's not until her ex-boyfriend sort of says things that she's like, oh, okay. And even the dad and the mum, we don't even learn about, what she's trying to say.
Yeah, her attitude towards Laney's the pageant sort of thing as well was pretty ordinary throughout.
It was almost like she was in this trance, and it took Deidra to like knock her out of the trance, because it's exactly how it felt. When she said that whole story about saving the money for college, I was like, this is a great story, but where did it come from? Like, nothing. Like there's so many lines that she said to Laney that we was like, you don't say that to your kid, like.
Yeah.
So that was but they do try and flip that on their head. The whole like, this is what life's like without a role model, but this is what it is with a role model, and they kind of do it with the same parents. So
yeah, and I was happy that at the end, the dad is sitting there in the pageant and he says goodbye to the son, and he goes and sits in that car and talks to that little
figurine.
Yeah, figurine. I thought that was nice that he actually came back too.
You're there when you don't. You're there when you want them. Gone when they don't. Dad of the year.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? What do we take from this film?
It's definitely a streaming service film.
Yeah, definitely streaming service. I thought it was really well paced and like snappy. It was like the whole time really like nice pace.
Yeah, it definitely was. I'd be happy. I'd happily see this in the cinema. I think it would add to it. And I think it's because those characters are interesting enough. And I think with any good content you see, whether it be film or TV, it's the characters that keep bringing you back. And 30-odd Netflix films that we've seen, this is kind of one of the best ensembles of characters that we've had. There's enough there where it's like, I like you, tell me more. They kept it really engaging.
Good. So we usually have a check on IMDB possibly throughout the film where we jump on to see if there's anyone we recognise. Heater?
Yeah, mine was the cop, the police officer who is...
The young dude.
Yeah, the young dude. Arturo Castro. He's from Narcos.
Okay.
Season 3 Narcos.
Ah, good.
Every like Mexican or Latina person.
They're always in Narcos. We've had about 3, I reckon.
So it was David Sullivan who played the dad. Okay. Firstly, I just thought he was really good. And I'm just like, what else have you done? And the first thing I checked was he was in Girlfriend's Day. As
was he?
Obviously a Netflix film that we talked about recently. He was one of the ex-racists, Sonny Boy, who helped rough up Bob Odenkirk's character.
Ah, interesting.
I was looking at photos. I'm like, it's definitely. It doesn't look much different, to be honest.
Okay,
it's a good pickup.
Yeah, I didn't pick that at all.
I had a look at the teacher, Mrs. Fowler, the pageant teacher.
Who was she?
She's in so much stuff.
She's been in a few things.
Yeah, she's in so much stuff.
Dodgeball, I think, is the one that.
She was in Galaxy Quest, which is one I really like. Galaxy Quest.
Never surrender.
Yeah, so yeah, she's in a heap of things. And then I looked up that Wally guy as well, one of the guys that was working at the diner. He just looked real familiar. His name's Colby Strong, but the only thing I could find he's been in is like the new Power Rangers, not the movie, but like the TV show.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't watch that, so I'm not sure.
She was in Dodgeball.
She
was in Dodgeball. Yeah, she's been in a lot of different things
and stuff.
Yeah.
What was her name again?
Missy Pyle.
Yeah, Missy Pyle. Yeah.
Was that her real name?
MISSI is her first name.
Yeah.
Your stage name.
Pyle.
What questions do you have for us, Jesse?
Oh, me? Oh, I like this. Turn the tables. I have a couple. My first thing is, so this is from a review from RogerEbert.com.
Oh, yep.
And it said, the film was pushed or it was advertised as a diversity prioritizing indie comedy as opposed to the young adult teen film it really is.
So they were saying that this studio or Netflix. Whatever marketed as
something that it wasn't. And I kind of agree. I think it's more a teen film than anything else.
I think it's definitely a teen film.
I don't think you can ignore the fact that it was, highlighting diversity. It was still an indie film. What were the other things that you said?
Diverse. If you look online at everything online, they call it a comedy, drama, crime film.
Genre-wise?
Yeah, genre-wise. So as a genre, I would much prefer to see this online and be like, this is a teen film.
I would have said, the main theme.
Yeah.
The main genre was teen film.
Rather than comedy, drama, crime.
Yeah.
You can categorize it in this one little thing and say it is a teen film. Because the themes that we've spoken about aren't about the crime aspects of it.
No, I agree with that.
I
think it's a little bit more grey than just a flat-out teen film. Like, what would you classify?
Or maybe a coming-of-age teen
Little
film.
Miss Sunshine as?
A drama.
I think they're different, but I think there's similar elements to both of them with the family dynamic, with these girls do have real issues that they're dealing with. And, they rub a train, which is kind of a bit fun to do it, but on Little Miss Sunshine, it's all about getting to that little beauty pageant thing.
She's not quite teen, though.
No, I'm not saying that the character's a teen. I just...
Like, the focus of this film was Deidra and Laney, and that says that in the title. The focus is those two girls trying to get through high school, trying to get to college, trying to do the right thing by their family and overcome the circumstances. So, yeah.
I don't doubt that it's got elements of a teen film, but I think it would be remiss to just categorise it as that.
Right. Yeah.
As I said, Coin Heist that we did a few weeks ago, that's a teen film. And I think there's a lot of differences between this and that.
Because this is how you make a teen film. What I've got, so...
You looked at me so seriously then. I'm like...
I looked you in the eyes. So I feel like I'm saying this again, but there's no consequences for these girls' actions.
Sure, they always went to jail.
What, the girls?
Yeah.
How did they almost
Got arrested. One of them got arrested.
Yeah, and then there was no consequences.
Yeah, they busted her out.
Yeah, they busted her out. So is that like saying that this is what society's like? Is there's no consequences for the youth of today? Okay. They can get away with what they want to do.
Sorry, I thought you were going to say there's like no stakes for them. But
no. Like just there's no consequences for actions. You can do whatever you want, and someone's always going to bail you out.
There were consequences. They just got away with it.
Yeah, if you're smart enough to cheat the system, find out that the cop who's going to arrest you will rough you up.
I really like that moral. What a moral that is.
Yeah, but they did it for the right reasons.
Yeah. I feel like we sort of...
They're not bad people. You don't think they're bad people, do you?
No, not at all. But still, even if you're a good person, there's got to be some sort of consequence for you. We sort of touched this already, but I thought, did the filmmakers make it clear enough why the mum acted so irrationally at the start? Like, do you think that one scene was enough, or do you think we should have had more?
And that was one of my big questions that I had as well. Was like, hang on, so why is the mum behaving like this?
Yeah.
And they tried to answer it, but I like the way they answered it too, but I probably just needed one more bone throughout to suggest that was...
there was more to it.
Needed more and needed it earlier as well.
Because I feel like we got lots at the start of her not being normal, and then just one thing at the end, it's like, oh, she's normal, okay.
She was in a trance like the whole time.
Yeah. That's the thing, like, by the time you got to that scene where you find out what had happened, already in my mind, I'm hating her. Like, I'm hating her character.
Yeah.
Like, I needed something before that too, before it's implanted in me.
So, for me... Why were the guys who they were selling the goods to, why were they taking the money out of the cash register?
I've got that. How does the diner survive?
So, like, do those guys own that diner?
Nah, I think they'd just be skimming money off there.
The till would be massively
That's what I mean. Like,
putting through fake sales or do it...
But these are substantial
not
sales.
Putting through... Oh, yeah, I don't think it would have worked for them. I think they would have been caught out pretty quickly. But mind you, they also would be buying off her and then selling it, and so putting the money back in at some point, plus taking out their profit. So I'm sure. So I think it would have to work that the managers don't count the tills every day.
So what about the till count?
Has to be counted once a month.
Yeah. You count it once a week, once a month, and it all evens up. But I think they were definitely taking the money out, putting it back in. And they just had a clueless manager who wasn't working out. Hey, we're a few grand short today. The next day we're even. Like, what's happened?
Okay, I'm glad you could see through that. But the other thing is, how are they selling this stuff so easily? Like, this is a really small town that wasn't affluent,
and there was a lot of stuff,
and there was some expensive stuff when they got the electronics.
Yeah,
so they'd be able to buy it cheaper. That's the idea, isn't it?
Sure, but like it's still costing you money.
Yeah, I think that was the thing. It was a small town, so there can't be that many people buying it and asking questions about, hey, where'd you get all this stuff
buying
from?
pair phones? Like,
was there someone online and shipping it out?
The train cop, he loved to smoke. But is it?
He liked
Are they
to
trying?
vape.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Is it meant to be okay because he was vaping?
I reckon no.
Or is that just trying to be funny?
This guy's a massive.
They were making fun of him.
Yeah.
I think it was to make fun of him. Yeah.
He wore a bum bag anywhere he went. What do they call it in America? A fanny pad?
Yeah, a fanny pack.
Fanny pack.
Yeah.
He wore it everywhere he went. That's just hilarious.
Any other questions?
No.
I got one last thing that I saw is I read a couple of reviews and I kept reading the same line, a middle of the tracks film, and I was just like, oh, that is such cliche. I read that a few times. I was like, ha ha ha, very funny.
I wonder if it is that easy to rob a train. Is that like a real thing? If you do rob it, that it's just paid for with insurance? Or that's one thing.
I don't know. You gotta get one of those slow freight trains so you can jump on and get off. Like it's got to be a specific one.
Their ability to work out the technology to scan what was in each box and work out what was in there was pretty good in the end.
They figured that out a bit late, didn't they?
Yeah.
Obviously, they just got an app that was
Yeah.
barcode scan.
All right, so I think we're almost ready to wrap up. Have a look at our film rating. So we each give the film a rating out of 5, and then we add these together to give an average overall for Flicks Forum. So, Heather, do you want to kick us off with what your thoughts on the film are?
Sure, mate. So it had its moments, but overall, I didn't really think it was that good. It was a pretty easy to watch film, but yeah, for me, it just wasn't that enjoyable a film. I gave it 2 stars.
Cool. MJ?
It's only like 3/4 of the way through this podcast that I started to realise that maybe I like this film a bit more than you guys. You guys keep you all so close to rap. It's like
You start off pretty well. I like this film.
But also the scenes that we don't like don't come out till about 2/3 of the way through the podcast.
Well, I thought this movie was pretty enjoyable all the way through. As I said, the characters were really interesting. The tone was light and fun, but it still maintained some pretty strong messages. And I had a bit of a laugh throughout. It was time well spent in front of the TV for mine, so it was 3 stars.
I thoroughly enjoyed this film.
Oh, good.
I've kept it really close.
I'm going to get this out of you guys at the start next time.
I thought you were going to say that you didn't like it.
I thoroughly enjoyed. I thought the performance was good. Thought the story was good, even though the robbing a train was a little bit out there. This is how a teen film should be made. Coin heist. People, anyone who touched that movie, watch this film. I'm giving this 3.5 out of 5.
Take 10 people. Watch.
3.5 out of 5 for me. So, Heather, what do we have as an average between the 3 of us?
I just stuffed that up.
That is
Hang on.
okay.
4.25 his calculator said, so that's the best film we've seen. So.
This calculator is a really good calculator.
2.83.
2.83.
I'm not sure what I did there.
This is my favourite part of the episode. 2.83 out of
I think
5.
I divided by 2. Should have divided by 3. Forgot to carry the 1.
So we like our social media pages. We pop up a question every week to go along with our episode. This week I'm going on with one of the things that annoyed me about this film. So what would have been a fair consequence for the sisters for their actions in this film? Ooh. Yeah, what would you like to say? Community service, clean the school, something. I don't know.
I think it'd have to be community service.
Just something.
Yeah. I mean,
just show them
you can't find them because they've got no money.
Yeah.
And
they repaid the town in goodwill.
Yeah.
They
got
their valedictorian who's now...
community service.
All right, so we will put that on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We're at Flicks Forum.
No consequences for mine.
No consequences. We would like you to subscribe to us if you haven't yet and give us a 5-star rating.
Definitely
we are on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Podbean, Apple Podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
Next week, we are looking at the 2017 biographical drama film, The Most Hated Woman in America. Biographical. So it's directed by Tommy O'Haver. It stars Melissa Leo, Peter Fonda, Sally Kirkland, Rory Cochrane, Josh Lucas, Adam Scott, Juno Temple, and Vincent Carthrese. So get on board.
There's
watch
a few common names there that I know.
Pretty decent cast by the look
Do you know
of
who
it.
that's about? If it's biographical.
The Most Hated Woman in America.
Come on, Jess. We know you looked ahead.
I did look ahead, and it is skipping my mind. It's something about a woman who didn't like what her son was being taught at school, I think.
We're Australians.
I think it's
we're going in real fresh.
Yeah,
on
real
this
cold,
one.
I think. So, yeah, so that's going to be our episode next week.
Looking forward to that.
Can't wait.
Thanks for getting together and having a chat about film again.
Thanks, boys.
Best part of the week.
Best fun. And, we will speak next week.
See you all next week.
See ya.